Today I'm going to do a complete walkthrough how to install a Fishfinder on the Hobie Lynx. Going to show you everything from the battery installation, cable installation, cable tidy, transducer installation, head unit, the works, start to finish. So I'm going to show you the transducer install on the Hobie Lynx. Got it upside down so you can see that you've got a transducer cover here. Unscrew that and you can see it's got a couple of brackets on it that essentially slide up and down the holder on the inside. Right, now I've got a Lowrance 83200 HDI skimmer transducer, so the installation for this is relatively straightforward because it was designed to be used with a Lowrance transducer, but obviously you can get adapters from Hobie for different types of transducers. I'm going to show you how to install this one. I'm going to show you a couple of little hints and tricks as well, some real nice little mods that we're going to do as well. Okay, so first things first, I'll attach the transducer to the bracket and we'll show you what it looks like. So once the transducer's attached to the cover and the bracket, it looks something like that. Okay, so it's secured, but then you're left with the issue of you've got a whole bunch of cable because there's way too much cable here, more than you need, way more than you need. So what to do with it? Well, there's a bit of a gap. If you have a look at where the transducer goes, there's actually a bit of a gap underneath it, so you can put some under there, but you're still going to be left with a load more. So I came up with an idea to try and manage the cable, particularly on the top side of the kayak. So I've fashioned up a little bit of a bracket. I don't know if you can see it. It's basically two bits of plastic, old bit of sandwich board cut up, and it's got 3 holes. Okay, so each bit's got 3 holes. Bit in the middle is for the transducer cable to go through. So it's got to be big enough, obviously, for the transducer cable to go through. Okay, and then the other 2 are for a bit of bungee. So you can see there, I've got a bit of bungee going through them all, so it stretches. And the idea is that this bit holds on the bottom of the kayak and this bit sits on the top, and they pull against each other, so this bit on the deck should be tight. Okay, and the idea is that you can wind any excess transducer cable underneath the clip on the top, so it's really kind of simple and straightforward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this through and then you can see what it looks like. Let's have a look. Hopefully you can see this. So push it through and there you go. That's holding it on the bottom of the kayak, and we'll spin the kayak over in a sec and you'll see what it looks like on the other side once the transducer's put in place. So here we go. Transducer cover screwed back on, transducer inside with a load of cable and the 2 brackets that I built. Probably still a load of excess cable, but let's flip the kayak over and we'll see what it looks like from the other side. So we flip the Hobie Lynx back up the correct way, and now you can see that bracket I've got on the elastic bungee. So I've got a bit of pressure on that. Now normally obviously the transducer cable would be in the Fishfinder, which would be on the side of the Lynx, but obviously when you're not using it, or if you go out on a day when you don't want to use the Fishfinder, or you're transporting the Lynx, you don't want all of this cable flapping around, and there's not really anywhere to put it. So that's where this bracket comes in really useful. So you can just stow the cable underneath the bracket like so. Job's a good one. And that's not going anywhere. If you're like me, you get really annoyed when you get these plugs, etc., and they don't give you a cap, and you think, well, it's fine when it's plugged in, but when it's not, rain, water, salt, all the rest of it's going to get in there. So here's a really great tip. This is a Lowrance transducer cable. This is a cap you get from the kit that you get with a Nokia battery, but if you go online, you can find loads of little caps like this. What I've done, the little leash that you get with it isn't really long enough to fit to the cable, so I've cut a bit of bicycle inner tube, just used a hole punch just to create some holes in there. So here we are. There's the little bracket slid over the cable, and there we go, cap in place. It's going to protect it from the rain and the elements. That's a top tip. Yeah, I'm gonna do that on all my cables if I can, certainly the ones that are left exposed. Top tip. In terms of power, I really like this Nokia battery. Look, it fits into the palm of my hand. You know, when you're on a Hobie Lynx, you want to keep everything as light as possible, and it doesn't really get much lighter than this. This is a 10 amp hour 12 volt battery, and Nokia also do, I think, a 20 amp hour version as well, which is slightly bigger, but yeah, it's the obvious choice to me. It's small and compact. Nokia also do some really nice little accessories for the battery pack. So one of the things that I like is this little fuse connector that fits in line to the existing power line, and then they also give you a bare bones kit, so you can connect the power lead of your Fishfinder to the battery itself using the same connectors. Hobie do a kit with the Nokia, I believe. So I've used that. In terms of locating the battery on the Hobie Lynx, there's a couple of locations. So you could put the battery in the back, in the H crate. My preferred location though is in the little mesh bag on the back of the Hobie Lynx. I think that's the obvious place. It's a bit higher up, away from any splashes, and it's so small and light, it fits in there a treat. So that's where I put mine. In terms of cable management, so I've got the battery, as we said, in the mesh pad, and then I route the power cable down in the gap between the seat back, so it comes out at the bottom of the seat back. You can see that, and it goes in the gap on the seat base, comes out front of the seat, so it's going underneath the seat. And then we've also got the transducer coming up, and you can see the mod that I've done in there with a bit of bungee underneath, just to keep all that loose cable nice and taut. Okay, so then both those cables come along, they join up, and then go around to the back of the Fishfinder. In terms of the brackets that I'm going to use to install the Fishfinder, well, I'm using a Hook Reveal 5, and I'm going to install it on the track on the Hobie Lynx. So there's a couple of products that I think are pretty good. This is the Yak Attack, which comes with the lock and load base, and both of these that I'm going to show you, they're both specifically designed to be quick release with this Lowrance hook reveal, so you can attach them to the bracket on the back and just pull them off. So the Yak Attack one, basically the lock and load base, and then you get an arm. It's pretty substantial, pretty chunky, and the reason I favour it a little bit is just because I've already got the same system that I use for the rods. So I'll probably just follow suit. But having said that, there's another really good option from Hobie, basically using a ram mount, and this thing is almost identical in a lot of ways to the Yak Attack one. It's a bit lighter than the Yak Attack one, and I like the ram stuff as well. They're both good. I'll put some links up on the screen to both of them so you can see which one you think is the best. So there we have it, Hobie Lynx Fishfinder, Lowrance hook reveal Fishfinder install, start to finish, Nocqua battery, transducer cable tidy, cable management, everything you need to know. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you found it useful. See you next time.